Hey everyone, great to be back together again online, and looking forward to a great semester, and looking forward to the opportunity to continue to learn from all of you. Just some thoughts on the spiritual disciplines here as we get the semester rolling. First, maybe just some thoughts on how I understand or how I best view the spiritual disciplines, how they make most sense to me. I really value some verbiage that I acquired from John Ortberg several years ago in his book, The Life You've Always Wanted, when he essentially describes the disciplines as those things that allow us to turn aside, from the demands and the pressures of life and turn towards God and just put ourselves in a place that Foster calls a place where God can do an inner work in our life and actually begin to transform us. And that visual of just turning aside from one thing, turning aside from the pressures or the habits or the routine of life, and allowing ourselves to enter a place where God can lead us into the deep parts and the inner workings of our lives. That turn aside picture has been incredibly helpful for me as I viewed the disciplines. It's allowed the disciplines to not feel legalistic. It's allowed them to actually feel life-giving and inviting and attractive to me. And that picture has continued just to fuel my energy and my excitement about being engaged in the disciplines. Both routine practice of the disciplines and also just the disciplines that express themselves more in full lifestyle, disciplines like serving and giving, which feel more lifestyle oriented than maybe sometimes the disciplines like prayer and Bible reading, which feel more routine, and we sometimes block those into certain periods of time. Both routine disciplines and lifestyle disciplines show up best for me in that visual of just turning aside from the pressure and the demand of life and putting myself in a place where God can lead me in the continued probing and transforming of my inner man and the deepest parts of my soul. And there have been some disciplines that over time I feel like I've lived in best and received the most life from. There have been some other disciplines that I look forward to living in a little more consistently and allowing the work of God to transform me through them a little more consistently. I valued the discipline of prayer. I valued the discipline of Bible reading. I love when the scriptures can just breathe life into my soul, when they can highlight the issues of my life, when they can bring encouragement or challenge to my life. I love when I get the chance to just stay in seasons of life where I'm reading the scriptures not just for the preparation of ministry and out of the desperation of the next sermon, but just to simply encounter God and to turn aside and put myself before God and let Him work in my life. I've greatly valued the discipline of corporate worship and what that looks like and what that means, the chance to celebrate, the chance to truly do what the Apostle Paul talked about and be a part of the local body of believers, encouraging one another with their hymns and songs and spiritual songs, and just collectively doing that together. And also, the more what falls into the more corporate camp, according to Foster, of discipline, but is a little more private, and that is just the confession of sin, confession to another brother. One of the most life-giving things for my soul is to confess the dark places of my heart, to take the dark parts of my heart and put them into the light, to confess my sin to a brother, and just literally have that moment of receiving verbal extensions of grace and forgiveness and from a brother, and watching relationship flourish in that, watching life come back to my soul in that. That does not happen for me in a weekly pattern or a scheduled pattern. It just happens through a more organic side of relationship and authenticity when it truly is brother to brother, Christ follower to Christ follower. When the need to confess is there, there's someone there to receive my confession. And I greatly value that discipline. It is honestly a discipline that I feel like our local church is probably, it's not just they're not great at it, they're not comfortable with it. There's still too much shame or guilt or regret associated with confessing sins to one another. And I look forward to how the Lord will prepare me to lead us in growing in that as a congregation, and finding the life that really can be found in that, and the inner working, the inner transformation of God that can come through that. There are some disciplines I want to grow in. I want to find a little more life in. One of them is fasting. I've periodically fasted and engaged in fasting. I'd like fasting to, like giving and like some serving, become a little bit more of a lifestyle discipline for me, and instead of kind of a hit or miss discipline. And just by that denial of some of the normal things of life, like food, allow myself to turn aside a little bit more, place myself a little bit more and a little bit more consistently in a place where God can do that transforming work in me. Another one is the area of simplicity. Right now I'm in a journey of just growing in simplicity. One of the challenges, really one of the invitations of God given to me lately, has just simply been in the morning to have no media input in my life until I've somehow significantly engaged in the presence of God. And that could be through significant Bible reading. It could be just through some time of prayer. It could be just in some time of worship or celebration. But to allow engagement with God to precede engagement with media, just to move towards simplicity, the cutting out of media first, so that God gets the first chance to shape and transform my soul for the day. And that has not felt like a law or legalistic piece to me. It's felt like a very fresh breath of life to my soul, in a life-giving way in which God is saying, hey, I want to work in your soul first. I want to be the first transformer of your soul. And so I'm growing in that one, still finding my stride in that one, but already enjoying the benefits and the life that's bringing to me in each and every day. So that's a little bit about how I view disciplines, and some of what's been good for me, some of what I want to grow in, and even a snippet of what I hope over time our congregation gets a chance to grow in. I really look forward to watching your videos and learning from you. Thanks for allowing me on the learning journey with you. Looking forward to a great next 15 and a half weeks. Thanks.